The Australians have had a good week here, the best they've had since this tournament began. On Wednesday they had a 4-1 record, so there's 3 Australians in the last 16 of this tournament. That's the first time there's ever been 3 Aussies here in Cincinnati at that stage of the tournament. Terrific effort.
Gee, 3 super points in a row from Sampras. He makes it look so easy, doesn't he?
Well, he was helped at a double fault at love 40 where Krickstein really went for a big second serve, but on this occasion look how low he stays down there. Stays down, the weight stays there, goes forward until you finish the shot.
And unlike the two-handed backhands, Fred, he leads with that right front foot. Really steps into where a lot of the players are sort of rotating around the back foot and then coming around on the front right foot. Very classic type hitting both on the forehand and backhand side from Pete Sampras with a little flair. He could add that little extra top spin.
Yeah, I think he's added that. I think Tim Gullickson's helped him add that top spin, a little bit of variety. At one stage I thought he was going to too much topspin on the backhand, but he seems to have found a happy medium with things now.
Game point. Pretty wild backhand. It is 4 games to 2 here in the first set. When you take a look at the #1 players in the history of the IBM ATP Tour computer, it is quite interesting. You see, you've got Lendl, who really enjoyed being #1. McEnroe, I mean, he had a tough time with it. Borg was comfortable there. So was Jimmy Connors. John Newcomb, very short time at #1. So indeed was Ilie Nastase. The others are Mats Wilander, who was again very uncomfortable with #1. Edberg, I don't know about him. Becker was very uncomfortable. Courier, though, and Sampras is my question, guys. Courier handled it well, and now here's Pete Sampras at #1 in the world for 6 or so months. How's he handling it?
I'm just curious, what do you feel? What do you find uncomfortable about being #1?
A lot of players do feel uncomfortable.
Well, I think Edberg and Courier felt they were a little uncomfortable the first time round. They were there for 4 or 5, 6 weeks, and then they lost that spot again, and then they came back. And the second time, I think Stefan Edberg's handled that #1 position better than anybody.
I think Pete Sampras starting to settle into it pretty nicely, and I see a little reflection of it in his game. It just seems some of the shots that before were not high percentage shots, he's starting to pull off. I mean, there's this extra bit of confidence in Pete Sampras's game now that sort of carrying out onto the court.
I don't know what you do about serving like that.
You just walk to the other side. There's nothing you can do about that because it's hit so hard. It's with pinpoint accuracy. It's 6 inches from either corner. It doesn't matter. You've really got to pick that one and guess, or you just say, well played, move on.
Game Sampras. Ball change.
Frustrating to play against Pete Sampras because he's got so much firepower. 5-2 he leads. One breaker serve. Krickstein will serve. First of all, we're going to take a break. Live coverage of the Thriftway ATP Championships, one of the IBM ATP Tour Super 9 or Championship Series events. A great field here. Number one player Pete Sampras, the top seed of course. Aaron Krickstein is serving to him, trailing 2-5 in the first set.
Athlete.
That was a slam dunk overhead, that one. The problem that Aaron Krickstein has in this match is that Pete Sampras pretty much knows that he's not going to serve and volley. Krickstein has a good solid first serve when it gets in, but he doesn't really come in and serve and volley that much. So Sampras can get it back deep, and if he gets it back deep into the court, then he's well in the point again.
15.
I remember that Pete Sampras was actually bothered by his right shoulder at Wimbledon. Some, in fact, before the tournament, there was some talk about him maybe even pulling out.
Well, it was speculative, but he didn't practice for 3 or 4 days, and then when he did come out onto the grass courts at Orangi Park there at Wimbledon, he just really hit ground strokes and volleys and not too many serves.
30-15.
30-15. He served, talking about his serve, he served 22 aces in that final against Jim Courier. The average on the second serve was 97 miles an hour. Second serve average.
Early on in this match, Pete Sampras has showed us a lot of the variety that he has in his game. He's been beating Aaron Krickstein at the net on the baseline. Now this time he'll try to draw Aaron Krickstein into the net. Sets up, turns so beautifully on that back, and he just waits for that split second, and with a little extra topspin, dips it down the net. That's the toughest I found as a net rusher to play against those low-topped balls, low at your feet with angle.
Didn't have to be hit hard either,
No.
did they? You just had to stretch it all every which way.
And even if you get to it, the second shot's a put away.
So deceptively good, isn't it?
That's the forehand, and it doesn't look like it's going to be hit that hard, and just skips right off the court.
17 winners for Sampras. And it's a set point.
Okay, first set.
First set is over behind 2 serve breaks. Pete Sampras playing really brilliantly. You know, you saw those winners, the unforced errors, not that high. He just hasn't made that many unforced errors, and Sampras runs through that first set pretty easily, 6-2.
33 minutes.